Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for joining our Canada C3 Hangout. My name is Joe Grabowski. I'll be your host for today. For those who are new to the C3, it's a signature project for Canada's 150th anniversary. And the centerpiece is an epic 150-day sailing journey from Toronto to Victoria via the Northwest Passage that's going to connect Canadians from coast to coast to coast and inspire a deep understanding of our land, peoples, and the past, present, and future of our country. So it's divided into 15 legs and has a cross-section of Canadian society joining in, from scientists to artists, Indigenous elders, historians, community leaders, youth, journalists, and educators. So right now I believe we're in leg 13, just off the coast of British Columbia. And we're being joined today by expedition guide Jean-François Carrey and adventurer Felipe Gomez. And so a little bit about the two of them. So growing up, Jean-François wanted to climb, Francois wanted to climb Everest. In 2006, not only did he do it, but he became the youngest Canadian to have climbed to the top of the world. Since then, he's led a number of expeditions down Mountain and Snake River in the Northwest Territories and the Yukon, as well as journeying to Ellesmere Island and Baffin Island to trek and sea kayak. Felipe is an award-winning musician, adventurer, and public speaker. He decided to take his touring musician or troubadour concept to a new level, cycling across Canada with his 6-string bass and amp. So with this project, he's trying to inspire Canadians to experience the outdoors and embrace the diversity of our art, culture, landscape, and wildlife. So guys, thanks so much for your patience today getting the Hangout started. It's great to have you joining us.
How are you doing?
We're good. So you can hear we've been having a little bit of tech issues today. Classrooms are kind of popping in and out. And we're just trying to keep the volume down for us. So classrooms, if you did have to duck in and out, can you just mute your microphone when you come back in? We're just having trouble controlling some of the microphones here. There we go. Everybody's mute now. Sorry, guys. We got you now. How's everything going?
Everything's going good. Perfect.
Good. Well, how long have you guys been on the C3 for?
So we've been on the ship for 10 days now. It's we're at the end of the leg 13, and we started our leg in Prince Rupert, and we are now in Bella Bella. And we've done all the northern coast of British Columbia. We visited different communities. We visited the Haida, which is a beautiful island off the coast of BC near Prince Rupert. And it's been a fantastic journey. And we're at the end of leg 13 and starting leg 14.
Excellent. And so today's talk we're talking about adventure and why it's so important. Can you guys each tell us a little bit about what adventure's meant in your life so far? Hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt right in the middle. Can you guys still hear me? I've totally lost you guys again. Your sound. You can still hear me. Okay. C3. Let's try this. Okay, we got you back.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. If you can start from where I asked my question. We lost you guys there.
Okay, you asked me what adventures mean. I was saying that I've been a little bit of a context. Coast of Canada by the bicycle, so it's a really slow pace. There's a lot of alone time. So the main thing I have learned from this adventure myself, it is be comfortable with myself and trying to get comfortable to be uncomfortable. If I'm a little hungry, if it's raining, if it's too cold, I'll just deal with it, and it's just part of the journey. Also, it helps me to connect with people, to be a good listener, ask for the questions, the right questions. When I met some communities that they will tell me if there are bears ahead, there's wolf, or whatever danger. I'm always asking and doing my research in town or with the locals. So I can't be shy anymore after doing this.
Well, for me, adventure is it's been life for me. I started. I was like a young boy. I was in Scouts. I was like excited little boy. The students that are running around in the classroom right here. But I was one of those students, and my parents put me into Scouts, and this is where I got the passion for an adventure, and I had my eye on doing big adventures at a young age, and started to do trips all over the Arctic. And then I was 18, Mount Everest to see, and for me it was an eye-opener, and it's been since then. And at 24, I raised $100,000. I trained for 6 years, and I became the youngest Canadian to climb Mount Everest at 24. So for me, it's been a way of life.
All right. Well, let's dig a little deeper into that Everest journey. So that's something you wanted to do. Said it was your dream, kind of growing up. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Repeat that.
You said that your dream growing up was to climb Everest. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was ever since I was a young boy, I dreamt of adventure, and at 18, I saw Mount Everest. I went to Nepal with a friend of mine, and we just went trekking around, and we climbed. We couldn't climb Everest at that time, but that's when it started. And so I raised in the 6 years after that, I raised all the money to do an Everest expedition. I did multiple mountains to prepare for that all over the world. So all over the world, and then on Everest, well, that was you know, it was a tough expedition. It was a 2.5-month expedition. It's not easy to be on the mountain for all that time, and it's you have to stay motivated, and there's a lot that can happen. You know, there's avalanches. It's been down to it went down to minus 55 degrees Celsius at the top, and there's a lot that can happen. Oxygen. You know, it's been down to it went down to minus 50.
All right. So it sounds like an amazing expedition. Just quickly for the students, how do you know, some of your expeditions, Everest, and then kind of more remote locations in northern Canada, how do you prepare for some of the risk of things like that, taking those kind of adventures?
Well, to prepare for those kind of expeditions, and there's a lot that you can't control. So there's like the weather, you know, stuff that you can't control, the nature. So, but there's a lot that you can't control, and so what you can control, for me, it was to get as ready as I could, do as much things like you know, get my physical fitness up. It was you know, get as fit as I could. You know, I said that I was in Scouts, but when I was in Scouts, we went winter camping a lot, and so I was prepared that way to, you know, sleep in a tent. I was comfortable that way, and so is to get ready for what you can control.
All right. And Felipe, moving over to what you've been up to. So it sounds pretty incredible, cycling across Canada and then stopping along the way, playing music, connecting with people, and sharing what's amazing about our country. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
That journey started 4 years ago, and it went coast to coast from Vancouver Island to Newfoundland. I was in Newfoundland, and I was wondering if on the bicycle. It was winter starting. I called a friend, and he said, "Yeah, go to the Arctic." I didn't know he was joking about it, so that's what I did. So I went up north there in Takayakta with little research, but I started asking locals. I started training harder, and I got my skill level. I really I upgrade myself, learning like more about winter camping, surviving skills. But always the advice for the kids is always asking for help. Like there's other people that really they've done the research before for you, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel by yourself. I learned how to find information, and it's been fantastic. It's been my passion. That's what I do right now, and I will keep doing. I think so. I'm going to Russia next year on the bicycle, and I like to bring music to the kids. But also, I also am, because in each community they are all different. They all sometimes eat different food. They have different kind of mountains. They had different kind of animals around them, and that shaped the culture. And that's a great.
All right. Well, it sounds like an incredible journey. We're getting a lot of. Let me see if I can. There we go. That should take care of the feedback for the moment. So, it's yeah, what you guys do is incredible, and spending time with the classrooms today is so awesome to kind of share your stories. Now, the lesson for today is entitled "Why Adventures Are the Best Way to Learn." What are some lessons you guys have learned from your adventures?
I think the main one to me is like you have to be adaptable. Sometimes you will make a plan in your head, but Mother Nature will decide something else, and you have to just adapt yourself, reset, and go again with a new plan. So adaptability is a big one for me. Being able to just adapt to the weather, people, and change plans.
For me, like I said, like adventure has been, you know, a way of life, and it's like I said, I was really a young boy that was too excited, and for me to get out there was a dream of mine, and for me it was. Like if I want one thing for the kids to take back is you know, have a dream. You know, any dream is possible, and I use an analogy because for me Everest was so big. You know, like it was like almost impossible, and I thought about a friend of mine told me that you know, Everest is like eating an elephant. And so how do we eat an elephant? Well, it's one bite at a time. And, you know, you can't eat, it's impossible to eat a whole elephant at once. So, you know, get little goals at a time and then go at it. And because if you eat too big bites of the elephant, well, you'll get indigestion. So, so anyways, but I just wanted to, for you guys to see like where we are, you know, like we're in Bella Bella. It's very like a beautiful. Can you guys see?
Yep. Looks like we're looking over the water.
Yeah.
Bit of a cloud.
Yeah, there's some clouds out there. But anyways, like this has been a very inspiring journey for us, and you know, like Everest for me has enabled me to do all kinds of adventure, go to all sorts of places in the world, and especially this trip has been amazing. I've never seen this part of the world, and you know, there's things that you like. There's your dreams that you imagine, but there's also things that you don't imagine that will happen as well when you dream big dreams, and this is one of them.
All right, so we're going to jump over and meet our classrooms in a moment. We've got a great group of classrooms from different spots in Canada, and we even have one classroom joining us from the US today. But before we do, can you guys tell us a little bit about what life has been like on the ship so far?
Life in the ship, we had people from all over Canada. We had like actors, we had filmmakers, we had writers, we had athletes. So it's been great because we've all been learning from each other in the last adventurers, yeah. We all been learning from each, and we had great musicians too. Mm. The music has been fantastic. We've been learning from each other, right? Because when you go really specific in your field, you kind of start learning your own field, and you forget a little bit about the other fields of knowledge, of learning. So having all these experts and high performers around us, at least for me, it's been really inspiring, and it has opened my eyes to other areas of life that I haven't explored yet. So exploring is not just to climb a mountain. It can be learning a new art, reading a book about something else that you are not really, you don't know much yet. So exploring is everywhere. It's just curiosity, right?
Well, yeah, for me, life on the ship, I'm part of the expedition staff on board. And so my job is to drive Zodiacs, and to also, when we go explore, you know, we go for hikes, and people can say that they've been on a hike with the Everest climbers, so that's pretty cool. But also, like we have stand-up paddle boards on board. We have also kayaks. I don't know if here, I'll just show you guys. You see, did you see the Zodiacs and the paddle boards?
Yep.
That we have on the deck there. So we have all these go out and explore in nature. So it's, you know, it's been a fantastic journey.
All right, and I think you guys brought up a really good point as well, which I think is good for the students, is that it's just great to be out exploring and on an adventure. And I think it's important for students to know too that an adventure doesn't have to be Everest. It could be exploring a new spot in your city. It could be camping on a hillside, just doing something you haven't done before. Getting outside and exploring a little bit is a great first step to start towards adventure. All right, well, let's meet some of our classrooms. So as I said, we had a little bit of technical difficulty, which is why we started a bit later. But we do have several classrooms with us, as well as some viewing online. So anybody viewing online, use the YouTube chat sidebar. Let us know who you are and where you're from, and then send us in some of your questions. So right now, let's go to our first group. We have, let's see, let's start with Mr. Cameron's group in Thunder Bay, Ontario, grade 5/6s. Let me turn your microphone on. Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Cameron? All right, so someone's coming up now. Hey, Mr. Cameron, it's just not working mic-wise for us right now on your end. Do you want to type your questions to us? I'm not sure what's going on, but we wait for Mr. Cameron's question. I just got a message from our class in Newfoundland. They've got to duck out soon. So if you guys want to come up and ask your question or two really quick, just unmute the microphone for me on your end, because you guys muted. All right, St. John, Newfoundland, how are you guys doing? Good. This is a grade 4 class from Vanier Elementary. Go ahead with some questions really quick.
While you're standing right in front of. Okay, Dash. Dash. Hello. Okay, go ahead, Dash.
Hi.
Really nice and loud.
What made you want to climb Mount Everest? I don't know.
All right, why did I want to climb Mount Everest? That was your question?
That was his question, yep.
Well, I've said, it's you know, something I've read in books and seen on some of the television shows, and when I was young, I was really active in the outdoors, and for me, it was something that I dreamt up and you know, thought about doing. It would be cool to, you know, to go climb mountains. It wasn't necessarily Everest at that point, but once I started to climb other mountains, I was looking at Mount Everest, and I was telling myself, well, this would be, you know, a cool thing to do. It'd be fun, and it'd be challenging, and so I took on. I said to myself, this is what I wanted to do, and I made my objective. So yeah.
All right, and we'll see if you guys have one more question before you have to leave from Newfoundland. Do you guys have one more question? You'll just have to unmute again for me.
Quand tu vas voir Mount Everest, est-ce que tu as réussi?
Pardon, la question?
Nice and loud.
Quand tu vas voir Mount Everest, quand est-ce que tu as vu Mount Everest, est-ce que tu as peur que tu ne vas pas réussir?
Oui, ben ça c'est une très bonne question. Quand j'ai vu le mont Everest, est-ce que j'ai eu peur? C'est sûr que le mont Everest, ça peut être épeurant parfois. Puis souvent, des grands objectifs comme ça, c'est épeurant. Mais il faut que tu fasses en sorte que tu te prépares très bien, et puis que tu t'entoures de bonnes personnes comme tes parents, tes amis, puis que tu t'entoures avec ces gens-là, puis les peurs vont s'atténuer. Donc, il faut, c'est ça, il faut en parler avec plein d'amis quand on a un grand objectif. Donc, c'est ça que moi, j'ai fait. J'en ai parlé à plein de gens autour de moi, puis ces personnes-là m'ont aidé quand j'avais peur, et puis ça m'a aidé à aller au sommet.
All right. Thank you so much for your questions, grade 4s in Newfoundland. We're going to jump over to Mr. Cameron's from Thunder Bay. They have to go soon, but they sent me their questions via YouTube, or sorry, the chat sidebar. So let's get a couple in together. So how many places have you visited, and can each one of you tell us about your favorite so far on the C3?
I think the Canada C3 has visited all the coast of Canada. We've been here for 10 days. And definitely my favorite place was when we went into the spirit bear. You guys can research after that. It's a white bear. It's a subspecies that live here in the West Coast. It's really rare. So we got to see the white bear that, I don't know, it's probably, we feel really fortunate and lucky and honored to see this bear. And well, yes, like for us on leg 13, we started in Prince Rupert, and for me, the thing that I enjoyed the most was going to see Haida Gwaii, and so Haida Gwaii is, you know, it's a fairly big island off the coast of British Columbia, and there's stunning nature. We've seen breaching humpback whales. Like Felipe said, we saw the spirit bear. We saw also grizzly bear. And also, like, what was amazing for us to see, it was the sites, the historical sites of the Haida people. That is
you know, almost some of these places, there's been people for about 14,000 years. So these are people that has been here like a long time, and they built, you know, these long houses out of these huge cedar trees, built these amazing totem poles, you know, out of tools like clamshells and, you know, rocks, and they didn't have the tools that we had, and build these amazing houses with, you know, like rudimentary tools, and build these amazing canoes, dugout canoes. So for me, it was like seeing that culture. We visited the communities along the way, and it was just amazing culturally as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So we're going to move on to our next class, but just Mr. Cameron's had asked another question that I can answer for them. They're reading Paddle to the Sea right now, and they're wondering, is it true that there is a Paddle to the Sea on the ship? And I was on in Toronto, and I can verify, yes, there was, or there is, but I'm sure you guys can as well.
He just went to get it. He just went to get it.
Okay. So Mr. Cameron's class, if you guys can hold on for another second, he's going to go grab it. But Felipe, I've got a class in Anaheim joining us. And they want to ask you some questions. And they might ask in Spanish too, so let me turn the microphone on.
I was there last January.
All right, Anaheim, you're on.
Chicos, ¿qué les decimos?
Buenos días.
Okay. Tenemos unas preguntas a Julia. Okay, Victoria. Están un poco nerviosos.
Ok, no se preocupen.
Victoria.
¿Tienen fútbol en Canadá?
¿Qué me dices?
¿Otra vez?
¿Tienen fútbol en Canadá?
Ya, hay fútbol. El fútbol americano sí, de soccer también, de los dos.
Ok, gracias.
Miguel.
¿Cuáles animales tienes en Canadá?
¿Qué me dice?
Otra vez, más fuerte.
¿Cuáles animales tienes en Canadá? Animales.
Yo personalmente he visto osos polares, osos grizzlies. Como les contaba, hay un oso blanco que vive en esta costa que es endémico, que es muy raro. Búsquenlo, se llama el Spirit Bear. Hemos visto ballenas. Estábamos en un paddleboard el otro día y salieron como 3, 4 ballenas cuando saltan afuera del agua. Hemos visto lobos, coyotes, muchos zorros. Los 16 kilómetros, 16 kilómetros, he visto como a veces osos, focas. Hay mucha naturaleza, mucho árbol, muchos animales acá.
All right, excellent. Well, we've succeeded in making it a trilingual hangout. We've got questions in English, French, and Spanish, and then it looks like we're back with paddle.
There you go.
There you go, Mr. Cameron's class. The rumor is true.
So I don't know if you've seen the Bill Mason movie about Paddle to the Sea. So this is the original Paddle to the Sea that from the movie.
That's awesome. So cool. Let's jump over to our next class, who's been waiting very patiently, and see how their microphone's doing. Mrs. King's class is in Kitchener, Ontario. They're a grade 4 classroom. Let me turn your mic on. Mrs. King, can you guys hear us now?
Yeah! Obviously!
Thank goodness. All right, go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
We missed the beginning because we were having trouble with sound, but Ayushi wants to know.
What kind of boat are you on?
What kind of boat are you on? We missed that.
Okay, well, we're on it's a decommissioned Coast Guard icebreaker. So it was built in the 1950s, and so we were using it for Canada C3. You can see this is the boat. It looks like this. And so it's been outfitted for, for our trip. So we have 5 Zodiacs. I don't know if you've seen the Zodiacs that I showed you on the deck here, but we have 5 Zodiacs. We have 4 kayaks. We have 6 stand-up paddleboards on it. We have a container that's like a laboratory on deck as well. So we have scientists that do experiments. They gather samples from coast to coast to coast to do research. To see like all the they call it the eDNA from all over Canada, and also we have a galley where we eat. We each have our rooms. We sleep maybe 2 in a room. Most of the rooms are 2 per room, and so it's a pretty comfy boat.
All right, so I want to make sure we get a question from our final group, Mrs. Willard's class. So it's a high school group of grade 9s, and there might be some other grades joining them as well. And they're in Winnipeg, Canada. Let me turn the microphone on. Be patient, guys.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Nina. We're from the Seven Oaks Med School. And I was wondering if you guys met any really cool people along the way, and who those people are.
So if we met cool people along the way, that was your question?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well we met. I met some pretty cool people like Felipe. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's in the compliment.
So there's also like scientists. There's musicians, well-known musicians that I've heard their music before, but they're on the ship right now. There's also all sorts of people, cool people. That we have good discussions, and
A lot of like the elders in the communities too. Really inspirational people.
yeah.
A lot of elders that are like protecting their land, their animals. So we've been learning the way they have been doing that, like how they've been dealing with the government to protect their land and their culture. So it's really inspiring.
All right, so guys, I know we've pushed a little long today with the tech. Do you have time to visit just for 1 or 2 more questions, or do you guys have another engagement?
Yeah, we can take some questions, more questions.
Okay, well, let's visit our Winnipeg class one more time in our Kitchener class, and then we'll sign off for today. So Winnipeg, if you guys have one more question.
I had a question.
This is the captain.
Rejected.
Captain. Hi guys, how are you?
Good. For a while, I'm excited.
All right, Winnipeg, go ahead with your question.
What type of food do you guys have? That's my question.
Yeah, cat food. No, well, we have a team of cooks on board, and so we, this morning we had porridge, bacon, toast, just normal. But also, like, when we visited the communities, we've had, like, they prepared for us meals. So we had, like, a lot of traditional food, like salmon and halibut and moose. Yeah. So that was really cool to taste, and yeah.
All right, well, it sounds like you guys are doing okay. Some good cuisine on the C3 and off as well. That's awesome. And then Mrs. King's class in Kitchener, if you guys want the final question, go ahead.
Oh, Isabel's turn this one up.
How long have you been on the boat for?
So we've been on the ship for 10 days now. So and then this is our last day. But there's the ship that this voyage has been. It's 150 days, 15 legs of about 10 days. So it's not finished. But every leg there's different people on the ship that comes on, and so it's there's been about 400 people, 400 different Canadians from coast to coast to coast that has been on the ship participating in this trip.
All right, and I want to give a quick shout out to Mrs. McLean's class, grade 3-4s in Kitchener. They had tech problems, and hopefully they were able to watch on YouTube. And I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Biffort's kindergartens from Calgary, Alberta. They were on as well, but had tech problems. So, guys, I can't thank you enough. This was a great hangout today, hearing a little bit about your adventures and why you think it's so important for students and learning and such. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for persevering over the tech problems that we had. I'm not sure what was going on with Google Hangouts today, but we figured it out and we made it work. So once again, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your journey, and thanks so much for sharing with us. And obviously we all wish you the best on future adventures.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Have fun.
This is King